The lesson of love. One of the first lessons that Jesus taught to everyone was about unconditional love. He did not only love those close to him, but also those whom society at the time considered unworthy of love, the poor, sinners, and those rejected by society. One day, while Jesus was teaching the crowd, a group of people brought a woman before him. This woman had been caught in the act of adultery, and according to the law of the time, she deserved to be stoned to death. They asked Jesus if they should stone her, as the law required. Jesus remained silent for a moment, then he bent down and began writing on the ground. Afterward, he said something that made everyone stop. "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." Upon hearing these words, the people quietly began to leave, no one daring to speak. Only Jesus and the woman remained. He looked at her and said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." Jesus demonstrated forgiveness and unconditional love, showing that no one is beyond redemption, no matter how severe their mistakes may be. He not only taught about forgiving others, but also encouraged people to forgive themselves, for God's love is vast and limitless. The lesson of sacrifice. Another important lesson that Jesus brought to humanity was the lesson of sacrifice. He taught that true love is not just spoken, but acted upon. To redeem humanity, Jesus was willing to sacrifice everything, from his freedom to his life. The story of his sacrifice is clearly recorded in the final days of his life on earth. When he knew his time had come, Jesus went to Gethsemane to pray, seeking strength from his Father. He prayed that if it was possible, he might avoid the suffering ahead, but ultimately, he said, "Not as I will, but as you will." Jesus was arrested, tried, and eventually crucified. Throughout this process, he did not retaliate or seek revenge, but instead, he prayed to God for forgiveness for those who were tormenting him. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Jesus' actions and words in his final moments revealed an absolute sacrifice for the salvation of humanity. He not only sacrificed his body, but also demonstrated his unconditional love for everyone, even for those who had betrayed and harmed him. The lesson of resurrection and hope. After Jesus died, many people thought that everything had come to an end. But 3 days later, he resurrected from the dead, bringing a powerful message about eternal life, about triumph over death and sin. Jesus' resurrection was not just a miracle, but a symbol of hope, salvation, and rebirth. The resurrection proved that despite challenges, suffering, and dark times, love and sacrifice would always prevail. Jesus taught that life is not always easy, but through perseverance and faith in God, any difficulty can be overcome. Summary of the meaningful lesson. The story of Jesus is a living testament to love, forgiveness, sacrifice, and hope. He not only taught people about ethics and beautiful values, but also brought lessons on how to face difficulties, overcome challenges, and love everyone, even one's enemies. The greatest lesson that Jesus brought to humanity is sacrifice and unconditional love. He taught that love is not just an emotion but an action, the willingness to sacrifice for others. Forgiveness is one of the core values of life, and no matter what we have done wrong, God's love is vast enough to forgive us. Lastly, no matter how difficult life may be, hope always exists, and through Jesus' resurrection, we learn that death is not the end, but a new beginning.